understanding is they would start with kidnapping. And again, I don't justify what they do, but from a business perspective, it was brilliant because they would start with kidnapping, which is a high margin business, and then dump that into the cocaine. So if you could speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, Tom, you are absolutely right. They started with kidnapping, but we have to remember that Ndrangheta was born in the first half of 1800,
Yes.
and they were well connected with the social elite. They were able to survive during the fascist regime, and they were well strong and well organized after the Second World War. So I think they made the headline for the first time in 1973.
The Getty kidnapping?
Getty kidnapping, yeah. Exactly. That was the moment when the world, for the first time, heard this unpronounceable word, Ndrangheta. and that was one of many hundreds of kidnapping. I remember Covert has a crime reporter, the last part of this profitable business. And then, as you mentioned, the modern mafia was born in the 80s when it moved into cocaine, leaving the less lucrative heroin trade to Cosa Nostra.
Yes.
And I think the idea to invest the ransom from kidnapping was a brilliant idea because they were able to move people in many places. I have to mention also that unlike the Sicilian mafia, the Ndrangheta has a structure based on blood ties.
Yes.
And so imagine to have people living in Colombia, in Bolivia, in Peru, in Brazil, and married with the people over there. So extended the family concept. For brokers of the Ndrangheta married to Colombian women was easier to get shipment of cocaine without leaving an hostage like the Sicilian mafia had to do. They were trusted because they were part of the community, so they were able to put together a huge shipment of cocaine, not only for themselves, but also for other criminal organizations. And that was a brilliant idea because they were able to purchase without provide money in advance. There was a strong sense of trust for this idea of family concept, family oriented business. They were all related in some way.
Yeah.
And those brokers were instrumental to arrange huge shipment of cocaine. I'll tell you a story. It's called Operation Egress. At one point, the Sicilian mafia purchased a huge shipment of cocaine, and the man in between was Salvatore Miceli. Just to give you the idea of the of how powerful was this man, his nickname was the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Cosa Nostra. So he arranged a shipment. The shipment of cocaine was sent to Sicily and then seized by police. He wasn't able to pay, and he was in the hand of the Colombians that kept him as an hostage.
Yeah.
He had a really good friend, and this guy was a powerful broker for the Ndrangheta. And he called and said, leave him alone. I guarantee for him. And that was the way he obtained freedom and was able to return to Sicily. Wow. So that's the type
just
of
just a simple phone call to give background to the color. And I, part of this show is about is looking at organized crime, but also the business end. And my understanding, they got into cocaine for this reason. And with all due respect, if it's a heroin addict, lower price points, those users tend to go, to jail or die, or, are not necessarily, and I hate to say this, but maybe lower end users. Whereas cocaine, it's the aristocracy, people with money, and people may stop using cocaine, but there's more than people coming in and leaving, much better margins, and maybe not easy to transport, but easier because, the relationship with the ports. So my understanding from the business perspective, they said, you know what, we're going to pick our lane. We're going to be the coke people. We're going to do it well. We're going to develop the relationships, which we'll get to in a moment. And the people that use our stuff will spend money for it, and there will always be a market. Whereas the heroin market, as I understood, not only did they want to leave it to the Cosa Nostra, but they felt it to be a declining market. Can you speak to that strategy a little bit?
Yeah, the Sicilian mafia was able to control the heroin shipment early in the 60s, in the 70s.